Welcome, race fans, back to SVR. My name is Webbo, here to enjoy the race with you today, and we are here for the newly renamed G1 race of the next of our season. We're at the Interlagos Autodromo de Sao Paulo circuit, and we're getting underway and ready to go for a fantastic race around this beautiful and historic racetrack. Hello to Nikki and to Dylan already, who are in the live chat, which is great to see you. This is how things look after the current round of the championship, and this was pre any post-race penalties. Haven't got absolute confirmation that these are all A-OK, but as a rough guide, Dummy is in first position on 49 points, with Senor Fac on 35. Bijan is on 32, with Flash on 30 points, with Tequila having moved up in the order on 28. Copa and Too Funny Nicky Lauda are joint on 26 points. We have Sock on 17. Dinosaur and Red have 16, and hopefully we won't see a repeat of Red's disconnection issues, having actioned some repairs on his end, or some optimizations, I should say. Uncle Pants is on 14 points, with Larry on 12, Mappy on 9, and Phil on 6 points total. Team Mega lead the way in this and the overall standings, but in this division we have 65 points for Team Mega, ahead of 58 for Buckstein, 57 for Kimi's racing team, 50 for Jamplacht, 49 for Delesi, Brokaga have 40, and at the back at the moment, Coach Dave on 21 points. Well, I look forward to seeing the race and qualifying very soon. I'm also hoping to bring in a special guest today, if at all possible. And I will just check my stream. No, not in yet, but I will leave you, keep you waiting and hanging. Do follow the link in the pinned message on the live chat. You don't need to be a Sky Q, Sky Glass, Now TV, or Sky Stream customer. You can just press a link on our live chat and you can watch your choice of driver POVs with the Hector dashboard over the top of this video, if you so wish, or on a second browser, second device, and you can then pick out and to be part of today's stream if you'd like to. We would love to have all eyes all over the circuit, and call out anything that we need to know, because we as a community can make these races all the better, of course. We are looking forward to this Interlagos round. We will be racing for 60 minutes. No sprint race today here at G1, the top tier, of course, of the GT3 races. I can see the drivers are slowly but surely assembling in the lobby. I think we are down one or two, maybe. Yeah, I want to say we're down 3 from maximum, but hopefully we'll be able to get you underway. I think our race director is just getting everything set up and started for us, and we will be ready for you. Everybody using Hector today, as you would expect, and we get underway then for our qualifying session any moment. Obviously pay close attention to our Hector for the interactive lap counts, and I will do my best to try and monitor the activity as to what's happening. Well, the drivers just checking in, just getting their streams ready. Do shout out on the live chat if you would like a hello from me, or if you would like to call anything out. We'll try and make this as interactive and fun a stream as possible with you all, as the race is just about, the qualifying session is about to get underway then for the 60-minute race, and I can't wait to call this one. I had a practice race with some of these drivers and some of the G2 drivers yesterday, and we had an absolute blast. So yeah, really enjoyable. It should be going from mid-afternoon to sunset conditions as well, all the better. Hi to QT as well, who joins in the chat, so good to have you here. QT, let me know what your feeling is of various activity with your team, Jamplacht Interiors team. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Of course, all of them are title sponsors of the team, but you can, if you operate a business or are involved in the leadership of a business, would like to sponsor our broadcasts, you can have your logo up on the screen throughout, or as part of the main sponsor scroll. Thank you to Coach Dave Brocara Delesi, Jann Mardenborough, as I mentioned, Kimmy's Racing Team, Bergstein Transport Service, and Mega Transport as well. We're about to get this qualifying session underway, so I will just reorganize my screen as the driver I was watching made a slight error and disappeared off the circuit for a second. Let's get you to the paddock and the lobby, and hopefully we will be able to see everything as the drivers and race director get ready. Looks like race is about to get underway. This is a race style broadcast, of course, so the drivers make sure that that they can get their cars ready to go. They go on a rolling start. I can see already we've got a problem there, so we need to change this to nicknames. There we go. So Flash in for Jann Mardenborough is going to be the lead car on circuit on this rolling start. The drivers with just the soft tyres to use, they obviously don't last very long. Very aggressive tyre wear. They're in the late afternoon sun here in Interlagos, so we've got a lot of things to enjoy for you. Hopefully, I just need to change my personal sound balance because I'm being absolutely deafened, and I'm not going to be able to hear our special guest if we can get him in as well. So I'm just going to have to turn that down a little way, and then hopefully all will be well. That's a bit better for me anyway. Hopefully all is well for you guys on the stream, and as I say, we'll do our best to follow the action for you throughout the course of this session. They will have just 10 minutes to set a fast lap. They'll probably get 2 or 3 opportunities to do so as we get underway. QT saying 39 members right now. This is a fun fact from QT. 39 members are connected with the voice chat together today, so that's fantastic. Everybody, we've got race engineers now. We have a few vacancies for race engineer positions, and it looks like Flash is about to get underway for his first flying lap right now, and as he's got the premium position on the circuit, will follow one of our fastest free drivers, certainly one of our fastest ranked drivers in the Gran Turismo ranking system, as he gets all the way down to first gear to stop the car, short shift up to second, short shift to third to go through Curva 1, Estor Senna, and now Curva do Sol. We're on to the Reta Aposta. We're just on that white line, I think, just about as we head down that Reta Aposta. Probably won't even trouble into 6th gear today. Down to 2nd gear for Decido de Lago, and then it's more of an acceleration zone in all but the lowest grip conditions, the second part. Then heading down towards Ferradura, a tricky little corner here because you can't abuse the entire distance of the track on the outside because it feeds straight into Laranjinha. Now we're into SA corner, one of the first of the very slow corners before we turn left into Pinheirino. Faster than it looks, you can pick up the throttle fairly early thanks to the camber. Short squirt down to Bico di Pato. We may see some overtakes in the early part of our race here in Bico di Pato. Now we go through Megulo, and Megulo is probably the corner most to blame for the front right being the most limited tyre in our running here around Interlagos. Around the final braking zone was Yon Sao before you've got to get down onto that power really fast. Before the apex if you can, and if your car will allow you to. Stay left as much as possible for the shortest run to the line, but don't rub that wall across and flash a 132.093. Dummy comes through and manages, what time was that? A faster time, I think, but I will stay here. Senor Fac across the line next. Vijan 32.5, looks like Flash, quick out of the blocks as you would expect. Dirtbag Larry sets a 32.685. We have Nicky Lauder on a 32.998, 33.5 for Uncle Pants. Vice manages a 34.1. I think he'll be quicker than that once he gets running. 34.1 is P. Reeve as well, with Red on a 35.411. Dinosaur managed a 34.5, and Tequila Monkey a 53.602. At the moment then, Flash leading by 32 thousandths of a second only from Dummy. Senor Fak some 4/10 further back. Bijan very close to Senor Fak. So we will perhaps follow Dummy this time on this lap and see if he can keep the lap alive, see if he can keep the car in the operating window. That's a purple sector from Dummy, although it is lap 2, so everyone gets purple sectors. It's like they're in the audience of an Oprah Winfrey broadcast. Firing out of Yon Sao goes Dummy. We're on that second lap already. Let's see how he does as we go into the next run here. Just need to bring up my situation, and it's a personal best for Dummy, but not enough to close in with Flash and get onto that provisional pole position. Senor Fak managed a 32.522, incredibly close to what he'd managed before. Bijan a slower lap on that lap 3. Looks like Larry managed to go quicker, 32.3. So Larry doing well out there. Looks like we may have a driver who hasn't connected. I'm not sure Larry is actually, no, yes he is. He is connected. P3 for Larry. And forgive me a moment while I just have to get my interaction button going for Hector, so we can see everything that we need to see. This is riding on board with Larry, and that was Nicky Lauda going through. Nicky Lauda setting the 32.6, and 3/10 of a second of an improvement for Nicky. We'll watch Flash's stream in picture-in-picture for you, but I think he's probably headed toward the pit lane. So our standings at the moment, with 6 minutes gone of the 10-minute allowance, Flash leads Dummy, leads Dirtbag Larry and Senor Fak. Jano 5th, Nicky Lauda in 6th, with Phil Reeve in 7th, and Dinosaur in 8th at the moment. Just need to check in on Vice. Vice is showing a strange flag on his Hector display, a different flag to what I'm used to. Here comes Nicky Lauda. Bijan goes P3 ahead of Dirtbag Larry and Senor Fak. Great run from him. So just a reminder to everybody, do join in with today's stream as much as possible. Check out the pinned message if you want to track other drivers as Red moves up to 9th. I'm expecting bigger things from Red today than a P9 start anyway. And this is Nicky Lauda running through the order. Let's see, how is Dummy running at the moment? Still plenty of life in these soft tyres. It looks like the drivers are able to do 3 fast laps back to back, and there's little time remaining then after this lap. If you don't pit at the end of this lap, I think that will be your running done, and you'll have to stay on the tyres that you're on. But at the moment, at least, things looking reasonable. Dummy is only 1/10 of a second off his best through sector 2. So a good run through Yon Sao and a favourable wind, and it might still be on. But I think he's probably going to head in toward the pit lane to change tyres. No, staying out is Dummy. Dummy goes to cross the line, and no improvement from Dummy. 1/4 of a second slower than he's been before, and likewise for Flash, who had a cool down lap and is running and going again then. And you see Flash picture in picture in his VR helmet. Of course, this is the VR Simracing World Championship GT division. The drivers have a westerly wind as they approach turn 1. That is okay, I believe. It's the easterly wind that they fear that will catch the tail as they turn into the corner. I think it's going to be okay for the drivers. Arya saying no pitting during qualifying. Thanks, Arya. Appreciate it. I don't know if that's a new rule or a rule specific for the GT3s, but I could have sworn we've had drivers changing tyres in qualifying in one of our divisions. Anyway, Flash leads Dummy and Larry from Jann and Senor Fak, your current top 5 positions. The thing I need to make sure I do is to get the chat going properly. Yes, okay. Not sure we're going to have any drivers managing to improve on this same set of tyres at this point. Dummy comes through then, and he heads into the pit lane with about 50 seconds remaining of the session, maybe 40 seconds remaining of the session. This looks like Bijan parking it on the outside. That's not the best place to park it if someone is actually on a hot lap before he crosses the line. Here comes Niki Lauda to head across the line then, and he does not go any faster either. Dirtbag Larry pits, so does Senor Fak. That's Flash turned 90 degrees with a little bit of damage on the car as well. As this looks like Red coming through to complete his lap. We go with Red as Flash is watching the world go by. Red goes P3 from P9. What a great way to finish out qualifying for Red. Tremendous run from him. Here comes Uncle Pants, and being overtaken on the track at least by a Kimi's racing car, but it's no way through then as we wait to see the drivers. Again, not sure this is an advisable place to park as things stand. Get out of the way, guys, come on. QT, tell me, is this a tactic for your team? Because it's very odd. P. Reeve across the line, P12 for P. Reeve. But Niki Lauda managed to get himself into 7th. Flash has the pole ahead of Dummy and Fak, but I have to say, Tequila Monkey in a strange position. I think this is a quali ban for Tequila Monkey, so he does not participate in qualifying. I believe that's the case anyway, or at least he hasn't. Yes, he has. He has completed qualifying, but I think didn't set a lap. What's going on with Tequila Monkey? Let me see on my display. 32.6, 32.3 is his best lap. Is Tequila Monkey not connected to Hector? I think that's the case. So we need to flag that one up with Tequila. With Arya, we need to get you quickly into the Kimi's race team. We need to get you quickly in to remind Tequila Monkey and Uncle Pants, if we have any Bro Cargo drivers, to get them connected to Hector. Otherwise, we're going to end up doing without Hector once again, because that is going to throw off our race order. For me, I see Uncle Pants having got a 32.9, and I see Tequila Monkey getting a 32.3. No Hector, no bueno, I think, for the drivers. We'll wait to see what the ruling will be from race control as to whether, if they didn't connect to Hector, their quali times will be eliminated. I see, as I say, I see Tequila Monkey at 32.6. Contrast that with Flash, who has a 31.8. A 31.8. So I will wait to get any confirmation, any finishing order from race control as to what's happening. We see on the front of Flash's car a message in support of anyone struggling with cancer. Of course, our community has got right behind, and I think it's fantastic that our guys are getting so behind this particular cause. Here is P. Reeve doing exactly the same thing for Delesi. You see on the side of the car there. Let's see if Bijan and the Buckstein team have done anything. QT saying it's not a tactic, they just jump scared on the reset on track. Okay, interesting. Interesting situation for them. Well, that's our qualifying session over. There'll be a momentary few minutes pause here, I think. Ignore that for now, as we wait to see what the results from qualifying actually are going to be. I will go back to the pre-race standings, so you're not left watching a lobby screen. Hi to Ashley, cheering on Larry here, and hi to everybody who hasn't yet said hello. Do say hi and be part of today's broadcast if you can. We are going for humid, sunny and cloudy conditions. I think it was considerably cooler this week here in Interlagos than it was last week for our Formula drivers. A much warmer day out there. That will open up some strategic options for the drivers here in the GT3 G1 division because those cooler temperatures and the fact that they're running into sunset should enable things to run a little bit smoother for us. Really glad to have everybody with us today. Let me know where you're watching from or what snacks you have in hand. That's what we always like. Scabby saying happy commentary, Webbo. Thank you. Yes, my voice is probably not at its absolute best, having done a 2-hour stint earlier on today, but it's not massively unusual for me. Arya saying tequila should have fixed Hector. Uncle Pants though, we need a Brokaga rep to quickly chat to Uncle Pants. I think Race Control will do that. I'm tempted to go in myself and just remind. Let's see. I don't know if I can speak to them, but let's have a look. I don't have the power, I believe. I can see my team. Maybe QT could pop by. I think QT watching on. I think he could pop by Brokaga. There is only one person in the Brokaga chat. That is a lonely looking chat, actually, Brokaga. Where is the rest of his team, I wonder? Everyone else has got at least one other member with them. And Brokaga on his own, unfortunately. Uncle Pants. No one to tell Uncle Pants what's going on, I think. That's the problem. But yeah, we need that Hector connection so we get our best view on everything. So let's wait and see then. I'm just going to check our event settings as well. I should probably just save the replay just in case no one else does. Let's have a look. So we are running 3 times tire wear as usual, fuel consumption 1 times, refueling 6 litres a second. Just checking any other. So it's afternoon. Variable time speed, no, I think that was about to be fixed with the new settings. So we're going to set everything up so that we will go for our 60-minute endurance. SoulShock is currently sorting everything out for us. Big thank you to all of our race hosts and admin staff. Joker-san saying a bit of noise and good luck, Kimmies. Let's check out then what we have. It's late morning start with a 6 times speed, so we will have a 6-hour time elapse. We should finish just about in the dusk conditions, I think. Yesterday's practice that you can see on my channel from my POV was mostly at night, so we kind of went over the top with our time elapse. I think we've tweaked that back a little bit, but yeah, similar weather conditions, I believe. Weather conditions still set as humid, sunny and cloudy in Interlagos. Of course, no rain on the horizon today, but we should be able to be underway very soon for you. What I do have is a few moments from the previous race that received quite a lot of attention for you to enjoy. And I must say, I must also show you a special presentation for this, which is going out on May the 4th. So the resurgence of Dark Side Racing livery, a historic livery for a team who only lived for a year here at SVR, the VR Simracing World Championship. But Coach Dave being co-opted by the Dark Side of the Force, thanks to team leader and fantastic driver Lord Vader, who is our representative there. Thanks to Senor Dude for arranging for that video to be sent my way in time for today's race. May the 4th, of course, special Star Wars Day. With you, may the 4th be, as we say. We are starting the race then any moment now. So let's get down trackside and get ready for our race then. As I go back to viewing Hector, we still don't have, I think, Uncle Pants in our midst. But I tell you what, we have very few drivers actually with their POV showing today. So getting ready to go, as I will find a good camera angle, and we will run through the order as things stand. Timer begins. We're ready to go then. Oh, and it's dropped the clutch and go, and Dummy with a launch ahead. I think that's going to be a penalty for Dummy. Dinosaur at the back of the grid, away slowly. Flash then fighting with Tequila Monkey down into the first corners. There is multiple contact with these GT3 drivers around the first few turns as the fast starting Ferrari got only up to 2nd position, followed by Red as well with the bright red wheels. This is going to be fantastic beginning of our race. Flashing his way into the lead of the race. Tequila Monkey hot on his heels with Red following behind. It's Kimi's 2-3. It's Bijan in the Nismo GT3 in 4th, ahead of Senor Fak, who is fighting with Bijan's teammate as they go side by side on the way towards Ferradura. And it's door-to-door action then for Bijan, for Niki Lauda, and for that's Dummy having dropped all the way back, I think, to P7, one of the fastest drivers on the grid as the new Dark Side Racing liveried Coach Dave car of Dirtbag Larry hangs it round the outside of the difficult Pinerino corner, and ground to make up then as Dummy dropping all the way back in the order at the moment. I'm going to have to switch to everything correctly for us. A little bit tardy starting. Dinosaur in 11th. P. Reeve, who's had problems right from the off, but Flash is in the lead of the race. The sunlight is glinting off that Jamplacht interior windscreen as we run through Flash, Tequila Monkey, Red, Bijan, Fak, Niki Lauda, Dummy, and Dirtbag Larry as they start the race. Great to see them picking up the positions. This is Red feeding round and heading in towards turn 1, getting a little bit loose on the way in, and that causes Bijan to hold up slightly. That means that Senor Fak gets right on the tail of Bijan. Senor Fak on the hard tyres. Most drivers are selecting that hard tyre, I believe, at this stage. And you ride on board with our race leader Flash. I'm going to switch over to Larry for a moment because he's probably seeing more action in his front window. Dummy then side by side through Desida del Lago with Niki Lauda stuck on the outside. Dummy hanging on then right now. P6 for the Team Mega Lexus driver on the hard tyres, and it must have been the hard tyres that were causing some issues there. Niki Lauda in 7th. Dirtbag Larry now up to 8th position, and in the crowd right behind Dirtbag Larry, of course, in the Dark Side Racing historic livery. We've got Uncle Pants in P9, having not connected to Hector. We're just going to have to remember that Uncle Pants is P9 at the moment. He's on the racing mediums and looking to get a hurry on. He doesn't know everybody else's tyres unless he's consulting with our race engineer Hector, but he is hot on the heels of Dirtbag Larry. Vice, the surprise for me, down in 10th at the moment as Larry goes wide on the way out of the corner, and I think it's well, we'll watch Uncle Pants as he challenges Dirtbag Larry here. This is for P8. Uncle Pants has got the line ahead and the inside line. The Audi R8, a quick car in a straight line, but looks like the Supra has the better launch on the medium tyres for now, and up into 8th position. So Uncle Pants now in 8th place, Dirtbag Larry in 9th, Vice is in 10th. I think Larry might have the impetus here and the momentum to come back straight to Dirtbag Larry, to Uncle Pants. No, it looks like he's lost out slightly, but up front, here goes Nicky Lauda, trying to take that outside line away from Dummy. Hard tyres, Nicky Lauda, hard tyres, Dummy, and running through the exit of Descida de Lago and in towards Veradora and Laranjinha. They run. Flash still leads from Tequila Monkey and Red. Senor Fak is 4th. Bijan is 5th. And you see on screen the battle currently for 6th place, led by Dummy and Nicky Lauda. I think we might have a good opportunity then to have a look at the start. This is how things were looking on the way into the Estel Senna then for the first time. You can see lots of drivers getting together. I'm going to just run that back once again. Let's have another look at that start here as we see the concertina effect, but largely speaking, the drivers making it through quite comfortably. This was P. Reeve, stuck on the outside. Now, what happened for P. Reeve? Because he ended up a long way back from the drivers with him. I don't think the replay is going to run long enough for us to see everything that went on here for P. Reeve. He's on the outside, he braked very late, he braked too late and puts himself out onto the dirt. Is he going to have a mini spin a la? No, not quite, but he did suffer for a moment there on the way through, and he's now at the back of the grid. Flash is your leader, 1.5 seconds on the medium tyre, as is Tequila Monkey, but check out Red. Red not far away here, only 0.6 of a second away from his teammate Tequila in front, but Red is on the hard tyre and possibly in the better run. Joker-san asking about a safety car. We don't have an active safety car driver today, but we do want one for our run. So Vicinity saying Dummy had VR tracking issues at the start, unfortunately, which is why he dropped down the order, but probably doesn't explain his jump start. So Vicinity, any info on that jump start? Was there a penalty for it, or did he get away with it? But it looked like he lurched forward. Dummy now in 6th place on the hard tyres. Having to do this with one hand tied behind his back at the moment. Nicky Lauda right on his tail. Looks like Dummy has got that VR settings sorted, and Red goes off the track. Red off the track. That's heartbreaking after what happened before. Let's see what happened for Red. He turns in towards Pico di Pato. Is it traction on the way out? He had a little stab of throttle on the way out of there. Oh, Red. He's just caught the rear quarter of the car as well. Red with damage, and he's going to have to repair that. Unfortunately, he was doing so well early doors and spinning mini spin, but losing the rear of the car, and he'll be wondering how this car is going to handle now. Red unfortunately dropping down the order down to P9 on my tower, but there might be a problem with the Hector tower. I'm going to have to hit refresh, I think, because Hector needs to catch up a little bit with what's going on. And as Gautier just telling me that it's not responding, it's stuck. So I think we may have to switch back, unfortunately, to non-Hector view here, as can often happen. Let me find you a driver POV while I move everything off screen. Excuse me while I do this. I know it's not super great to look at, but I will do my best to line everything up for you. Let's put P. Reeve in the position here, and you can see the race time on the bottom left of your screen, and we will see the true race order then. We are a little bit cursed when it comes to the GT3 division to get this working well, but anyway, back up to the front of the field. Flash has a lead of 1.7 seconds, as I said before, on the medium tyre. QT's going to let me know when everything's running as we run with P. Reeve in the cockpit. I'll find you a driver who's close to another one. We've got Nicky Lauda, who's following Dirtbag Larry by only, well, I would say not a lot anyway. Let's have a look at how close that battle is. There it is. Well, that's Dummy right on the tail of Bijan. Dummy heading down the inside line. Bijan opening the door essentially on the way into Curve 1, and through goes Dummy. Then on the recovery, and a clatter and a clash, and Dummy spinning round. That is a nightmare for Dummy, who's got to try and turn the car around. He's damaged the car as well. Hard tyres for Dummy, and heartbreak for Team Mega, who get punted round as having made the overtake we can maybe have another look at that. I'll try and track that. No, we just got the after effects. Unfortunately, I thought we got a reasonable view of it, but Dummy down in 10th after contact in the rear from Bijan. Weiss in 11th, P-Reeve in 12th place. Flash leads us with Senor Fac now, your 3rd place driver for Leigh, running through. Is the green percentage in the driver display their remaining fuel? Correct. Yes, good guess. Well done. That's excellent. So you can see it now on screen as well in the traditional Gran Turismo view, which we will run with for now. I just need to turn on the tower top for SVR as well, so we get something approaching our customary view. Great midfield battle here. We've got Niki Lauda. This is Dirtbag Larry in 5th. Niki Lauda just ahead of this in the teal and white Bergstein car. Uncle Pants chasing down Dirtbag Larry, who gets a little wiggle on going through Yun Sao. Dirtbag Larry on the medium tyres. There's a straight fight between himself and Uncle Pants. Behind them, Bijan and Red. Now Bijan down to 7th after that contact with Dummy, but Dummy himself is going to have the job to do all over again. Uncle Pants right hot on the heels, 0.3 of a second behind Dirtbag Larry. I'm hoping at some stage to bring in our special guest into the comms. He's here, I believe, and I hope I can just get a quick audio nod from our special guest, and I will do the introductions.
Yes, I'm here. I'll be available momentarily.
No problem. Well, for those of you who don't know, this is our very own Obi-Wan Kenobi of setups, the Jedi Master himself, Soulshock, who will be joining us here today for co-commentary. At the moment, though, this battle for 7th place is Bijan and Red on the recovery. Dinosaur in P9, hot on his heels, but Red with the rear wing and rear right damage. We've got Dinosaur with a clean damage-free car at the moment anyway, and then we've got Weiss, P-Reeve and Dummy at the back, having pitted and switched to the medium tyres. Now, may not be the end of the world for Dummy, because the medium tyre is the preferred race tyre. Nice little feature on Dummy's car. As you can see, the crash test dummy next to his driver display, and just by his wing mirror, and Dinosaur has a dinosaur, which is awesome. I think it might be, it's a T-Rex, of course, or is it a Velociraptor? It might be a Velociraptor. We've got Red in P8 chasing down Bijan. What news of Dirtbag Larry and Uncle Pants? Larry has extended the gap nicely at this stage, and he set a personal best lap right now. It is on the medium tyres, about 35 to 40% worn on the most worn tyre. That's the front right, the tortuous Mugello corner and the Curva del Sol, really hurting the car, but couldn't get a closer look, could you, at that fantastic livery. There was an interesting typo earlier on in the chat. I'm told that everything is working. I'm going to hit refresh and try and check my end first before I bring everything into place. But let me hit refresh and see if my side of things is working. And I'll do my best. But yes, there was an interesting typo, which I think was meant to be "this is insane," but it looked like "this is asinine," possibly earlier on. Now let's have a look. Is everything working to our customary take on things? I think things look pretty good. You just got to remember Uncle Pants is actually the driver in P6 out there, as Dirtbag Larry continues on his hunt of now Bijan. On Niki Lauda in front. Niki Lauda is on the hard tyres. Larry is on the mediums, and Larry having a great race of it at this stage. We join him picture in picture to enjoy what's happening here, and let's just check in on what's happening at the front of the grid. Looks like Uncle Pants with Phil Reeve still in 11th, no change there. Senor Fac completely on his own at the moment in the Leigh Porsche in P3. The gap at the front, 3.4 seconds. This is genuine gap for pace between Flash and Tequila Monkey at this stage. Let's see if things change when they try the alternate tyre later on. Then we have Larry on the hunt for that 4th position. Larry showing really, really well at this stage. So here we go. Dirtbag Larry dummy sets a new fastest lap on the new tyres at 1:33.0. Uncle Pants, just a reminder for our P6. Thankfully, there is a blank in P6. That's a really neat little feature that our coders have written as to make sure. So Uncle Pants is in that blank position. Bijan is in that 7th place. Vicinity saying, how am I in 10th if I'm not even racing? That's Vice Vicinity, you know this. But we did ask Vice to change it to help us see the difference between the two of you. But Bijan is in 7th and Red is in 8th position at the moment, still with the damage on the car. Remember, he started on the hard tyres, had that little spin, managed to back the car into the barrier so he didn't damage the front. But yeah, he has great pace, does Red, and hoping to try and put a better race together than his network allowed last time. But Red stuck in 8th place at the moment. Dinosaur just behind him here in the Team Mega Lexus. Dinosaur on the medium tyres and going for the move, is he? That looks like a late one down the inside. Red managed to swipe across his nose comfortably on his way through. And behind Dinosaur, Clear Air, some 11 seconds back to Vice. This then is where the action is at as Dinosaur gets the slipstream. Ducks to the inside. Red braking on the outside, but Red showing implacable character here at the moment and hanging on. Unfortunately, though, he had a little spin earlier on, and we're waiting to see if he is able to recover. Don't know if Soulshock is able to talk to us anymore at this stage.
Hello.
Hey Soulshock, good to have you here. And yeah, hopefully you can still be spectating a different part of the race. Anything you've noticed from this point to this point, I should say?
Hector's fun when you have technical idiot, but other than that, looks like a great race start. I love watching these guys race. It's a lot of fun. These guys are great.
They are, and these cars are great as well. We've got really good settings here today. It's late afternoon. We're going to be heading towards sunset. Drivers on a cooling track here at the moment. Flash leads Tequila Monkey and Senor Fag, and yeah, wonderful to have a guest in the comms booth with me. What are the main things you're thinking about when it comes to setup? Let me just pause there for a second, because it looks like Bijan, oh, it's Dirtbag Larry has pitted. Excuse me. So Dirtbag Larry in P9 now has pitted, so he's dropped down the order into that 9th place. I wonder if Vice will get by. But yeah, Soulshock, what about what are we looking at for the setup today? I know that front right takes a lot of punishment.
That's a good question. I didn't help too much with these GT3 guys, but I think when it comes to anything, when you're setting up your car, is finding a setup that works for you.
Right.
And maybe planning your strategy around it, right? I mean, there's some drivers that can run on crazy downforce setups and keep control, but if that setting might not work for you. So usually what I like to do is whatever kind of gets me around the most consistent and saves my tires is kind of what I'll try to go with. But this has got a pretty quick pit stop, so running aggressive and working those tires isn't as big of a deal as someplace like, let's say, our next track, Daytona.
Yeah.
Pit stop is quite a bit longer.
We're excited about Daytona, no doubt at all. Senor Fag takes the lead because the medium tyre runners at the front of the field are now into the pits. Flash followed by Tequila Monkey, but check out the fuel difference. I don't know if you can see this, but the fuel difference between Flash and Tequila Monkey. Tequila held on to a lot more fuel in that Ferrari Soulshock than the Lamborghini. Is that a surprise for you?
No. The Ferraris pretty decent on fuel, and the nice thing and the weird thing about the GT3 cars is they've all got different strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
So the Ferrari could also have a bigger gas tank than the Lamborghini, which is why it looks better on fuel. Coming around here too, I noticed that one of my course, you won't run into the same fuel, but he fueled up faster. So that means I must have had a bigger gas tank. So it's, yeah, like, each car has a strength and weakness, fuel, tires, top speed, and launches. It makes it great racing to watch.
For sure. We just saw Dinosaur finally making his way by Red on the hard tyres with the damage. Slightly unfair fight there, the Lexus on medium tyres. Even though they are getting quite worn out, I think Dinosaur might have to pit this lap, if not certainly the next lap. But he got the overtake done. He's been working that one for some time, but Red having to yield into the Decido del Lago corner. Yeah, looks like Dino hugging the left-hand side of the track as they both run in, and it looks like they make contact in towards the pit lane. We're going to have to view that one again, because I'm pretty sure we just got contact between the two drivers on the way into the pit lane. Now, you don't usually have to brake on the way in, but the Ferrari clearly felt he could go in a lot faster and almost shoved Dino straight into the wall. So that was contentious, to say the least. So Shock, I'm slightly confused by that, but running into a driver who's pitting in front of you, it's certainly a common issue when it comes to pit stop cycling.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially with the weird pit lane setups and where they are, like, if you are going into the pits and you cross the white line, you get a penalty. But if you cross the white line and you avoid the pits, you don't get one. So a lot of drivers use that as their line, and it's hard to distinguish. Maybe Tequila didn't think he was going into the pits and he was blasting through, but yeah, pit lanes are always fun, and they're always in great locations, right on the racing line usually.
So Dummy just passing Vice there, same, almost like a replay for the Lexus, this time on the Lamborghini of the Jan Placht interior car. Thank you for the audio feedback there for QT. So I have tried to respond to that. Thank you, I appreciate it. As Dummy, unfortunately, the thing with using Discord for voice channel is there's no normalization of people's voices, so there's no accounting. It tends to be in PS parties, things work a little bit more normalized, but I often have to turn the Discord down because some people are incredibly loud on their mic setup through Discord. Dummy into P6 then on the medium tyres, making those mediums last well after the unscheduled pit stop. But I was speculating earlier before you came on the comms, Soulshock, that early contact and getting off the hard tyre for Dummy may not be irrevocable for him in terms of his race pace, because the medium tyre typically the better of the race tyre.
Sorry, I missed that. I was trying to fix my mic settings there, so maybe I'm a little bit easier to hear.
You yours. I turned you up, so don't worry about it.
Oh, sorry, I turned up my mic.
I'll turn it down.
Well, see how it is.
All right, no problem. I'm getting quite a bit of gain, so I'm just going to knock that back ever so slightly again. Yeah, now we've got Red in P11. He's gone off the hard tyres, repaired the damage on the car. He is out with 37 minutes and 55 seconds to go in our race of green flag. Anyway, Red is in P11, and he has got to feel like he cannot buy good luck at the moment after last race as well. So Senor Fact leads us by 10.4 seconds from Niki Lauda. Niki now pits off the hard tyre. That's a little bit ahead of schedule, I would have thought, for the hard tyre, but before he gets into the danger zone on that front right and into the pit, screams Bijan. So Flash about to pick up P2, I think, as he goes through. The gap from Flash back to Tequila Monkey, that's worth monitoring, because I didn't think Tequila was going to need to put as much fuel in. I wonder if Tequila has had a problem there on this outlap, because he's lost about a further 3 seconds to Flash, despite not needing to fill as much. He has filled with more fuel than Flash, so he's filled to run these hard tyres as long as possible. We'll see what the strategy bears out. But my question earlier, Soulshock, was that we saw Red have to pit off the hard tyre, and I think Dummy as well, and go onto the mediums early doors. But with a shorter pit lane, hopefully that won't be quite such a penalty.
Hopefully it's hard to, like, hopefully it's early enough they can rework the strategy, and the time savings on the medium can make up for it.
Right.
But still an uphill battle behind, and you know, after an incident, it's always that mental, getting your mind straight again, and getting onto the focus and not panicking, trying to play catch up. And
Agreed.
but there's still a chance. It's a long race, and this is one of those tracks that you need to keep focus on, and plenty of time for other drivers to kind of make up mistakes and places to be claimed, I think.
Absolutely. Senor Fact now pits. 17 litres of fuel remain on the car as he runs through that hard tyre run. Yes, earlier on in the chat, I realised we had Vic join us from Victor from Deviant to watch, and so we have another VIC who tuned in. So I'm getting confused with our 2 VICs, and we've actually got 3 now with Victor showing up to enjoy the race. Well, welcome, Vic. I hope you enjoy what you see so far. Anyway, as you carry on to watch Dirtbag Larry's stream at the moment, I hope that there was nothing out of the ordinary on there. Let's change that over to Dummy, who makes an overtake at the exact moment. Let's have a look then. Where is that going on? Here we go through the Estor Senna, and the overtake came thanks to the pit lane exit, and that was the Porsche coming out behind, or alongside at least, Dummy. So he managed to get the overtake done past Senor Fac, who was just pitting then. But Dummy getting towards the end of this set of medium tyres now, and yeah, certainly the drivers. You were talking earlier, Solshock, about the mental side of this game, and yeah, the fatigue is going to start to play tricks with drivers' minds, I think.
Yeah, especially at this course. I mean, the GT3s, they've got a bit more thinking time from corner to corner, but still, it's so many brake points, accelerating points, and the track is all over the place, and too soon or too late, and you've lost time, or you spun out, and the penalties for, you know, the with the location of it going uphill and on a straight, it just, oh, so punishing.
Absolutely. So here we go. This is Senor Fac trying to get back on terms with Dummy. Senor Fac with the newer medium tyres. He will be pretty annoyed that Dummy managed to sneak ahead here. He's going to give him a little nudge on the way through Curva del Sol. Probably hurt his momentum. I think this is the camera angle Joker-san was asking for, perhaps. This apex cam, I like to call it. Oh, the beautiful switchback from Senor Fac. That's how it's done. What a great maneuver. Let's have another look at how he got that one done, because that was very, very smooth and nice. He missed his opportunity to go wide through the Curva del Sol, and then just sweeping through thanks to those medium tyres and completing the move with real style. So Senor Fac into P3 again. Flash leads Tequila Monkey. That gap is opening at quite an alarming rate. Tequila Monkey leaving some of his speed behind in Suzuka and having his wings clipped slightly by the stewards with his late race drama and activity there with Senor Fac last race out. But Flash returns from his periodic break from racing that he has to take thanks to work commitments, and is blitzing the field at the moment. So Shock, how impressed are you with Flash today?
He's fast. I was just running some sprints with him yesterday. I was on mediums in the Ferrari, and he was on hards in that Lexus, and I couldn't keep up. No. And I'm not the caliber of driver these guys are in the car, but I'm not terrible either. So I think he's favored today for sure.
Yeah, Dummy pits. I think Flash just blitzed the entire field when we were practicing yesterday as well, although he had much less competition than the likes of me in the cockpit yesterday. But he did have ominous pace, although we didn't see Tequila Monkey in our practice session yesterday either. So who knows? Let's see if Tequila can unlock something. But at the moment, Flash is looking imperious as Dummy pits, and he's dropping down the order. He has the fastest lap at the moment, Dummy, at 1:32.8. And let me just check out where Bijan is relative to Dirtbag Larry. This battle is going to continue to run. Dirtbag Larry now on the hard tyres, and Bijan on the mediums. So this is going to be an enthralling one. This is light versus dark at the moment. Bijan trying to get the overlap through Laurent corner, taking a wider line now, just experimenting with different lines. He's got grip to spare, although he's going to be spending that grip going off the main racing line. I think if he can wait and make sure that he follows in the wheel tracks going through Yunsao, maybe a slightly wider entry than he's used to, I think Bijan will get the traction and the power up the hill with that beautiful Nismo GTR against the Audi R8 here, which is not a car without its weaknesses. So shock that Audi.
No, I can't drive the Audi. That and the Porsche are two cars I've really been able to figure out, but in the right hands they can be quick.
Let's see if Bijan can do it. Look, he's going for the outside. That's really sensible defensive driving from Larry. I hate that camera angle. It always lingers just that moment too long. But Larry taking the middle line, skipping over the apex of the Estel Senna slightly. I think he's going to get away with it. Let's hope so, because we want these drivers to battle it out on track and not be hampered by penalties. The low slung, wide Audi versus the tall and slightly chunkier Nismo here. And Bijan being able to probably see over that rear wing of the Audi and see the track ahead. It's rather a different story when you are driving that lower position Audi. But the Bijan going through Lauanhinia again, and again he's just being a little bit outfoxed here at this stage. He's going to have to do something a little bit different to try and get by. He's got the tyre advantage, but right now Larry driving a fairly impeccable run here, and great lines I think at the moment. Solshop.
Yeah, no, he's doing well. It's a great battle to watch too. Is the difference between the mid-rear and the front-rear car, and kind of how much the mid-rear is able to just kind of stay ahead through those corners, and then the front-rear gaining ground on the straights. It's
little twitch there from Larry as he tried to get the power down as early as possible through Yunsao, but he placed the car well again. Very wide entry. He effectively opened the door down into Yunsao, but knew that Bijan was a little bit too far back to try it. It's 30 minutes gone, 30 minutes to go, or 29 minutes to go as we run through. And then again, Bijan just a little bit more hesitant on the brakes into Curva 1, as then heading through the Curva del Sol we go next. Bijan is 32 seconds off the lead of the race, but just 0.4 of a second away from Dirtbag Larry, whose hard tyres are going to be passing over here, but that's Larry getting it out of shape, and unfortunately just doing the one thing we were praising him for not doing, which is making the tiniest little error, and Bijan walks through the open door that Larry allowed there on the exit of Decido de Lago. There we go. So patience paying off for Bijan. Didn't do anything desperate to try and make the overtake, and now Larry's task is pretty clear. Try and regain that position or stay with the medium runner in front until his tyres go off. Behind this battle, just 4 seconds back, is Red, who's now up to 7th position on the medium tyres at the moment. So as they run through nicely. Yeah, that's right. What are the little yellow bars? That is lap progress. Senor Fac has just made an overtake. No, it's just Tequila's transponder having problems again, I think. Not for the first time this season. So, oh no, they are very close together once again. Let's just check out whether we missed a potential... yeah, we did miss a little overtake here for a moment. That was Senor Fac just getting by Tequila. Tequila drifting out slightly, and they just stayed on the track. Senor Fac yielding and using the apex there off throttle, giving up a little bit of track position, and then they will power down the rest of the course. So we've got a great battle here with the two drivers who took it so close to a finish last time. Both of them making contact with each other in their battles in Suzuka, but ultimately only gentle contact. We didn't end up seeing anyone punted off, but Senor Fac now 0.4 of a second only away and running around the outside. What a kind of maneuver is that from Senor Fac to take the impetus running through Pico di Pato. I've never seen that before, so shock. Let's have a
Oh,
look at this.
you get some skilled drivers like this, and you put them on courses, and it makes for some great battles.
Oh, now that was on the replay. He was off circuit as he drew alongside, not as he made the overtake. But again, the stewards may need to get involved in that one. And let me know what you think in the chat as well. Did you enjoy seeing that one? Because Senor Fact pulling a bit of a surprise there move. So going from the inside to the outside through Pinorino and then launching one down the inside into Pico di Pato. Of course, he had that side of the circuit figured out. Tequila Monkey now down in third position. But a nice manoeuvre there. Chris Lean just calling that out as well. That battle was about to take place. It's lap 22. Niki Lauda just jumping forward, I think, thanks to, I'm assuming, to a pit stop at this stage. But that is Senor Fact. They're now on the medium tyres. Tequila Monkey on the hard. Flash is on the mediums for a second set of medium tyres, no less. 15.8 seconds. That's almost a pit stop ahead of second position. So I don't think the drivers have missed having Flash with them here, Solshock, because he's shown up and he's showing the other drivers up as well.
Yeah, I think he's been spending some time on that Lamborghini, and without the rear mirror for him, it's best to get away from everyone.
Absolutely. Let's check out his fuel consumption as well. Let's get you that view. My apologies, I just tried to move the wrong thing. Let's do that a bit better. Fuel consumption for Flash here with a projected lap 24 is when he is projected to run out of fuel, but he's come straight into the pits already off the second set of medium tyres. Very uniform fuel usage here from Flash. And I just want to see if he's been using Hector for anything. No. Senor Fact takes the lead of the race. Tequila follows him through. Again, let's have a look and see if Tequila has been any chat with Hector here from our drivers. No one's been talking to Hector, and he's going to not enjoy that one. There we go, Dirtbag Larry here. He's been asked who is going into the pits, I think. And the tyres for Bijan, also known as Zoom Room. So he's asked Hector to tell him when the drivers are pitting. Flash and Red pit now. With Tequila Monkey and Senor Fact staying out. Tequila on the hard tyres on this stint. He'll be looking for that opportunity, that window to open for the final stint there on the mediums, I predict at this stage anyway. Senor Fact, Tequila Monkey, Niki Lauda and Bijan, your current race order, as Dirtbag Larry's in 5th and Flash exits the pits. He's got the hard tyres to run for about 23.5 minutes of racing action. So QT saying that 2 people retire the session. I don't think we had any actual retirements. We were just down on numbers today, unfortunately, it seems. And you've got to bear in mind that Uncle Pants is not featuring in the P8 that he actually is on Hector. So that little slot for P8 is the missing Uncle Pants, who's at the tail of the order at this stage, thanks to not being able to connect to Hector today. Dummy. P7, here is Uncle Pants in the green and black Brokaga, number 38, on the hard tyres as well. Dinosaur in P9, some 5 seconds away from Pants and some 8 seconds ahead of Vice in the Jan-Placked interior car with the blue accents, the kind of turquoise accents, I should say, rear wing and his wing mirrors as well. Red is in 11th. He's a minute and 2 away from the lead of the race, but he's, I think, now pitted to a finish. So he'll get a better readout on that. Slightly scarred looking Ferrari. You can tell it's red because of the red wheels on the Kimi's racing team. And I think that got clearance on shot from the livery designer.
Yeah. Our spot is pretty accommodating too, with some personal touches here and there. So
nice. Let's have a look then at what he's done. A little cancer message there on the rear of the car as well. Well, lots of cancer support messages. But yes, those bright red wheels, leaving no doubt who is in the cockpit of the Kimi's racing car. And we've also got a difference in paint colour. Or wrap colour, I should say, for the 2 Kimi's cars. This seems to be the original flat, I would say flat lavender purple colour, and then this new gold to purple fade Soul Shock that we've seen a couple of the drivers rocking. And I guess there's freedom of choice when it comes to that particular colour scheme as well.
Yeah, we did it more like as a kind of a special livery for the last event there, just to bring some awareness to it. And I think some drivers have opted to keep it. Yeah, I like the old one as well. I might rock that the next race, but
excellent stuff. We've got Bijan in 4th. He's 3 seconds away from Dirtbag Larry at the moment. Joker's saying it was a bold move to go off circuit like that. I think referring to Fac's move on Tequila Monkey. Uncle Pants pits, and he drops down. Then that promotes Dinosaur into 8th place. There is Flash at the moment, currently in P6 on the hard tyres with a full tank of fuel, having to take a little bit of pain at this stage. He's got a very loud and proud message on his front wing. I can't really read that out, but FU cancer, I think, is probably the polite way of putting it. Not quite in the right colour scheme, but he's got the red accents for his colour anyway, so that we know who he is on circuit compared to his teammate. But yeah, we'll have to hear from QT as to whether these extra colours, and particularly I remember one of the drivers has had a matte black and very heavily edited livery. I would have thought QT would be quite tight on those livery choices, but he'll have to let us know if he's given his blessing to all these variations. This one I know on dummy is his personal design for the Lexus, and I know we've got 2 different options, but we've gone back to the original because we had a special cherry blossom edition for dummy for the Suzuka race as well. And Dinosaur was rocking a Godzilla transfer on his car instead of his standard Velociraptor, I think. So I think QT is still with us. You have to pipe up QT. I've lost him.
I think our livery standards are a little more high in the S1 division,
right,
than they are in the GT3s and the AN. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. Any particular drivers surprising you today so far, Soul Shock, with 19 minutes to go?
Not overly surprised. Well, I mean, Dummy had that rough start.
Right.
But it looks like he's making his way back up the grid. And he's still got some time left, another 20 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see what he... And Red's been kind of working his way back up there slowly but surely too, from that incident, so...
Red's in a good place.
And it's nice to see Dirtbag doing well.
Absolutely.
Larry, I should say.
Tequila Monkey now pits. 5 litres left on the fuel. We've got Dummy, who will have to pit again. Dinosaur likewise, who's got barely any fuel remaining on the car. So the order is still to shake out with 18 minutes to go now. The medium window should be open, I think, for the finish of the race. Most drivers who've used the hards have used them for slightly more than the 20-minute period. It looks like a clear 2-stopper today, and the medium and hard tyres the way to go. Flash back into 2nd place, and he is some 29 seconds away from Senor Fac, who has to pit at the end of this lap. QT says nobody knew about Flash's choice here. I saw it yesterday, I have to say, QT, in the practice race. He said nobody knew about that, but it'd be nice if it were gold, perhaps with the black. I'm not sure, but clearly he wanted to make his message loud and proud, and I can't really argue with it. It's certainly an aggressive one. Although not many other drivers are actually seeing the front of Flash's car today, so we might need to put something on the back of the car instead. Dummy in P3 right now, but still needing to pit. So does Senior Fac, but he is only 30 seconds or so ahead of Flash, and pit lane relatively short. In comes Senior Fac. He will, though, of course, have to be stationary for a while here to fuel up for a finish. Flash on the hard tyres will exit, I'm sure, the Curva del Sol to come through. As Joker-san saying, I think Tequila will only need half
Should
a tank of fuel. Go ahead, Social.
Sorry, Vice and Bijan are all in nice battle right now.
Nice. Okay, great. Great call. Vice in P6. Dirtbag Larry and Bijan locked in battle. Senor Fact pits. Wanting to see what happened with Flash. He's gone back into the lead of the race. While Senor Fact is still refueling even. Dummy into the pits as well. Here comes Dirtbag Larry down the inside into Yun Sao. So he'll have a slightly compromised line on the way out. Vice, though, is dealing with Bijan aggressively muscling his way through in the Nismo. I think everything in the Nismo looks aggressive, though, especially down to a slightly daintier looking Lamborghini. But Vice bails out of the whole battle and goes into the pit lane. Red promoted. Dirtbag Larry and Bijan helped themselves to Vice's position earlier on. So, yes, we go back then to see Dirtbag Larry versus Bijan. Round 3, I think it is, at this point, as they are now fueled and tired to a finish. They've got identical setup here. A straight fight for P5 right now. Bijan in 6th versus Dirtbag Larry in 5th place. Let's join Bijan on his POV. As you see the tilt and the pitch that happens with the VR system. We're going to enjoy that in Daytona, where we're all craning our necks to the right because the horizon always moves on us in the VR helmet. So that's going to be certainly a distinct challenge over the endurance length races, not so much the Adrian Newey races. Any Joker-san hasn't been any major incident yet. Pretty clean race. Haven't needed a safety car. Great work. So, yeah, good comment there from Joker-san. A couple of drivers have visited the scenery on their own, but yeah, no major big contact and no big loss of time either, I think, at this stage. Bijan just 0.8 of a second away from Dirtbag Larry right now. At the moment, though, Flash leads Senor Fact by 8.6 seconds. Senor Fact has gained a position since the start of the race. Tequila, where he started, I think, in P3, and then we've got Nicky Lauda in 4th. Dirtbag Larry here in 5th, followed by Bijan. Then is Red and Dummy with Phil Reeve, Uncle Pants, Dinosaur, and Vice finishing up. The 12 drivers that started this race are still with us, which is good compared to what happened in Suzuka. Bijan then still on the attack here, but catching this battle is Red to try and make this one a 3-way for P5. Tequila Monkey, I should say, down 1 position from his start. He got the launch off that Ferrari, and he got into 2nd place and almost into 1st, but couldn't quite get that track position. But I think, by the look of things, Flash, possibly even Senor Fac, Soul Shock, might have had the edge on Tequila today in terms of pace overall. I'm not sure Tequila quite has the right amount of balance and speed around this Interlagos circuit at the moment.
Yes, it may not be a best track for the Ferrari, but I think both Senor Fac and Flash been putting in a lot of work as well, so it definitely shows their paces.
It's
crazy.
Another problem then for our Red here. Quite sure how he ended up off the circuit. Wow, in the dry, I don't think I've seen that before either. He's suffering with grip again, and unfortunately, this was going through Subida dos Box, not even Yun Sao, but Red having an issue and actually drifting wide into the barrier. I wonder if he was just adjusting something on the HUD while he was thinking he was on a straightaway. We're being called out that Senor Fac is driving incredibly quickly, gaining fast here. Says QT. Senor Fac, and we know he's not shy in terms of going for a move after the last couple of races. So Senor Fac 5.7 seconds with 11 minutes 35. Now remember, he's on the mediums and Flash is taking that hard tyre pace now to a finish. Senufak slightly less fuel on board than the Lamborghini. I'll correct myself actually. Senufak was slightly more fuel on board as you ride with. Well, it's Chupacabra, it says on the stream. It's actually Bijan, who has got 3 different names now at the latest, at the last count. So Zoom Room, Chupacabra, and Bijan can't quite make up his mind. It's not easy for a commentator when people can't stick to their same names everywhere. We've got Dirtbag Larry, 14 seconds away from 4th place, but holding on to 5th at the moment, ahead of Bijan, and that is Senufak then gaining again and putting in a 1:33.000 that last lap. Dummy still has the fastest lap of the race though, a 32.8. But man, has Senufak got close to that with a decent level of fuel. I think he might be on for potential fastest lap, if not a battle for the win here before we close out Social.
Let's definitely hope so.
Right. Absolutely. So 5 places gained at the moment for Dummy. Now I don't know quite how that works, because Hector's telling me Dummy has gained 5 places, but I'm sure he had a jump start or an issue at the start anyway, and I thought he dropped down several positions from earlier on, but this is telling me certainly at the moment that he started 12th and is promoted up to 5 places up to that 7th place. I'm slightly confused by that one. I'll have to check in with Veragos later on. But then I should give a closer look there to Dirtbag Larry's Dark Side livery here from the old Dark Side Racing team. It
could be because when I restarted the Hector, it took whatever position they were in at the restart.
That makes sense.
And so that's why it probably has him raising 5 positions.
Right, and that it looks like Tequila's lost places from his start, which I presume was when he and Scavy's just making the exact same point. So thanks, Scavy. And yeah, you're saying timing says 20 minutes left instead of the 9:30. Yes, believe the 9 minutes on the middle of the screen there, rather than what Hector is saying. Now I wonder if we're going to have a problem with the finish as well, but I will perhaps cut back to Gran Turismo, turn Hector off as we draw to a close of this fabulous Interlagos race. 8 minutes and 40 seconds remain, and let's check in. 2.7 seconds now the gap for the lead, and it's on. I think this is absolutely on for Senufak as he approaches. Sorry, QT's telling me it's 9 minutes left and that I'm drunk. I'm not drunk, I promise. I'm reading the same thing on screen as you are, so I'm not quite sure what you're getting at. But anyway, this is on. This poor shot on the medium tyres. Senufak taking the pain earlier on, and now able to find some pace. And while it's been all Flash's way so far this race, Solshock, it looks like he's now got some challenge coming from behind.
Yes, and with the medium versus hards, it should be I think it's going to be a great last couple laps.
Senufak is not afraid of a last lap showdown, as we found out in Suzuka. So he
seems to be pretty good at it.
Right, exactly. Securing the win post race with penalty to Tequila Monkey. And yeah, he certainly is a very, very handy driver. Let's give you that apex cam. You can see quite what the visibility is like. You do find yourself using the VR head movement to great effect in these GT3s, because you've got those windshield protectors, the windscreen wiper. You've got those A-pillars on the Porsche, which are particularly large, and I have to say on the Lexus as well. 7 minutes to go, and that lap, that gap is now down to just about 1 second between Flash and Senufak. So this is definitely going to be a fantastic showdown. I'm going to join Dummy on picture-in-picture, and you can see what he's been asking for for his chat as well. He had one go to talk with Hector, but Hector kind of shut him down and told him to focus on his race, which he does like to do, Soul Shock Hector, from time to time.
Yep, no, he likes to keep the drivers focused when he needs to, that's for sure.
It's funny, it's a great default answer to a question he can't answer. I asked him yesterday what Star Wars movie I should watch today. Whoa, Flash! That was huge from Flash, a big slide. That is absolutely going to open this out for Senor Fac to have a go. In fact, I'm going to cancel that replay for a moment because Senor Fac is going for it. Will he go for that late lunge into Pico di Pato? He shaped for it, and that has caused Flash to question his life choices for a moment. This is, excuse me, that wasn't Pico di Pato, that was Esse. This is what we saw with him earlier on. Senor Fac down the inside. This is for the lead of the race. Door to door, bumper to bumper, and he goes through on a great overtake there from Senor Fac. And that, frankly, that was a lot to do with Flash having a big squirm going on out of Desiro del Lago. And this is how Senor Fac did it. He lurked around in his left mirror, and then at the last moment, jinked right. They went side by side into the corner. Flash may feel aggrieved, Soul Shock, but how did you read that one in terms of the rights and the wrongs?
It's so hard to tell. Little minor contact. I think it was a beautiful pass, though.
I would have to agree. I think Senor Fac, yeah, caught him slightly by surprise, and at the moment of contact, to me, looked like they were very least axle to axle. So I think he had the right to go for the corner. Now Flash, after leading this entire race, what does this do to a driver in the helmet, Soul Shock, when you have led comfortably the whole race and then suddenly you get passed with just a few minutes to go?
Well, I think we saw it when his car stepped out. You feel that pressure. You try to, you know, give it a little bit earlier, break a little bit later, and then one little slip up, and yeah, it's a lot of stress being in first place. I wouldn't know though. I'm
Right.
usually never there.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm exactly with you. That's why I'm asking the question. I can't possibly say what it's like to lead a race after 55 minutes and then, unfortunately, capitulate right at the death. But this is the tyre delta. Let's not forget. Let's make sure we get our excuses in for Flash. This is a big tyre delta. He had to fuel the car up. He had to drive a long stint here. Everyone had to use the hard tyre, but certainly Senor Fac, with his using the hard tyre earlier on, it's paid dividends. He's already opened the gap with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go to 1.4 seconds. So really running very well indeed. Let's have a look at Bijan, who is catching Dummy here, or I think Dummy might have just passed him, in fact. So Dummy in P6 now with the fastest lap as well, but I don't think will be a very happy driver in the cockpit, because earlier contact with the Buckstein car making the overtake sent Dummy round in the Estor Senna, and he's obviously trying to recover from this, but a long way to go, and obviously while everyone else is running at full speed, I think that was too much to overcome. Dummy leads the championship coming into this race, but Senor Fac may well be about to take back-to-back wins here, and that is no mean feat. Very different in terms of circuit characteristics as well between Suzuka and Interlagos.
Yeah, you can definitely tell how much more aggressive this is on the kind of the tires, on those right-hand tires. Not a lot of even tire wear amongst these drivers.
Absolutely. Let's just check out what's happening down in P12, because this is Phil Reeve closing in on Vice to hand over the wooden spoon, as we say here in the UK, for finishing in last position. Phil Reeve down the inside. Oh, that's beautiful. That is really well timed down into the curve of one, just hanging on to the Porsche that leans right over onto its bump stops, I think, coming through turn one, and that might hand the momentum back to Vice. I love to see this, Soul Shock, right at the end of the race. Drivers fighting hard over the minor placings as well. Here goes Vice down the inside. Can he hold on? Phil Reeve giving him a very wide berth, but going for the switch back and can't quite get it done. Can he? Oh, wow, this is looking good actually from Phil Reeve. It gets back through, but it's Vice on the inside. Phil's going to have to try and turn into Laurent first, and he makes it stick. Wow, brilliant. That's exactly what we want to see. And P-Reeve then into 10th.
Kind of shows our, kind of the drivers we have here too. They just love it for the battles, and doesn't matter what place you're in, and it's always a fun fight.
Definitely, and of course we know each other well now at this point in the season, so you feel like you can race that little bit of extra, aggression, because you know that there's no malintent with any of our drivers. We race hard and we shake hands afterwards. But P-Reeve, P10, we have just lost a driver, I'm afraid, out there. I'm trying to track who that is. Tell me it's not Red. Tell me it's not Red with a disconnection at the dying embers of the race. That is absolutely terrible. The gap at the top of the order, though, we won't dwell on that too much, but Senior Facts gap with 40 seconds to go as they head uphill. I think they will go through to start another 38th lap, but there'll only be one or two of them that will actually take that final lap. Senior Fact leads by 2.6 seconds with Tequila Monkey some 9 further behind them. He's about to close up. Does he decide to lift off here and not take that final lap? No, he's going to go through. Niki Lauda, 14 seconds to go. He goes across the line, so he will start lap 38. But it looks like it will be Dirtbag Larry. He could potentially, no, perhaps not, lift here to the line. 2, 1, checkered flag. Dirtbag Larry does have to take on the final lap. Crazy stuff. Dummy in 6th, Bijan in 7th then. They are fixed in their positions. Uncle Pants is running 8th. I don't think he's going to get any further up. Dinosaur is in 9th. P-Reeve is in 10th place ahead of Vice here as they close out the race. These two have had some great battles. I think P-Reeve is running very low on fuel. Vice has much more fuel here on top at the moment, so P-Reeve has got a huge job to do. Senior Fact is closing in on the final sector of the final lap of the race. It's a drag race, I think, to the finish between Vice and P-Reeve. Who's going to have it on the line? Here we go, up the hill, little bit of drag, a lot more fuel on board with Vice. I think P-Reeve's going to hold on right to the end here with just the tiniest amount of fuel left. P-Reeve does finish ahead. Let's go back to Senior Fact, though, who is about to complete a fantastic final portion of this race. Senior Fact with a back-to-back win and wins in Interlagos against Flash, returning to us with great pace in 2nd place. What a great finish that was for our hour of racing. Tequila Monkey closes in and finishes in 3rd place ahead of Niki Lauda, and fan favourite, I think, Dirtbag Larry will be the final driver to cross the line and take home P5, and I'm sure will be very happy with that. That is your winner then, Senior Fact for the Lessie Porsche after an hour here at Interlagos. Soul Shock, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did.
That was a great race, and thanks for having me.
You are most welcome anytime, and appreciate all your work for keeping our race running as well in the background. Soul Shock has been our race director today. Victory, though, for Senior Fact. Congratulations to him. Here are your provisional results then. Senior Fact finishing ahead of Flash by 3.4 seconds in the end. Tequila Monkey in 3rd, Niki Lauda in 4th, and Dirtbag Larry in 5th position on the lead lap. Finishing down, a lap down, but with the fastest lap is the recovering dummy, not from illness, but from an accident earlier on, with Bijan in 7th and Uncle Pants provisionally in 8th place. Everyone's provisional, not just Uncle Pants here. Dinosaur in 9th, P-Reeve is in 10th place, Vice is in 11th, and we have Red, unfortunately, with a DNF, although I'm sure he completed 90% of race distance, so hopefully at least get something for the finish of that race. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for enjoying the race with us and taking part. Don't forget, there are great ways to support SVR with monthly or one-off gifts, financial gifts, and you can also support my channel in many ways now on the order. So we will be with you. We'll be packing all the teams up. All the team personnel now fly on to Daytona, which will be the Formula Cars next weekend. Looking forward to that one. That will feature me for a moment anyway in the AN division, but also don't forget to be on the @SVR-Racing channel for the exclusive home of the S1 division, which will feature Solshock, which will feature Vader and others as well for the race. But yes, hopefully we will all have a fantastic prep ahead of Daytona. Thank you so much for everybody for taking part in today's stream. I hope you enjoyed using Hector more than perhaps Solshock did today. But for everybody here at the channel, from everyone at SVR Racing, thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.